Today I fucked up by not doing any research about the job I was interviewing for and insulting a majority of the menu. So I am a baker. I have been working in a bakery for about 6 years. Yesterday, I got a call for an interview for today, which didn't leave me a whole lot of time to prepare. Normally at the very least, I would look up their menu or products to see what I was getting into and what I would be baking. Unfortunately, I was super busy and didn't get the chance to. I figured, I am a good baker and I can figure it out as I go during the interview. The interview was going well in the beginning. We were getting along really well and I think I was hitting it out of the park. Until she asked me what my biggest pet peeve in baking is. I decided to answer honestly. My biggest pet peeve in baking is when people add lavender to great desserts in an attempt to elevate them. I honestly hate when people add lavender to their baking. I'm not a fan of rose either, but at least rose doesn't taste like you added soap. She didn't say anything about it and we continued the interview. Then she said we make everything from scratch here, all of our glazes and everything. We don't even like to add extracts unless absolutely necessary. And I said I totally understand. Some extracts end up with really weird flavors. Like pistachio extract almost always ends up tasting like almonds and that's just nuts. Was pretty proud of that pun at the time. Well, the interview wrapped up really soon after that and the interviewer seemed kinda meh, for lack of a better word. On my way out I decide to look at the menu. Lavender white hot chocolate, pistachio donuts, lavender coffee cake, pistachio latte, lavender glazed twists, pistachio ice cream, and so on and so on. So by saying that I hate when people use lavender and pistachio extract, I ended up insulting probably about 40% of her menu and her because she was owner and baker. And honestly, the menu is probably working well for her because the place was so busy while I was there. Can't see myself getting this job. Too long didn't read. Went for a job interview in a bakery/coffee shop. Said I didn't like when bakers use lavender and pistachio extract. Failed to realize 40% of their menu included lavender and pistachio extract. One of my favorite anecdotes in Kitchen Confidential was one where Anthony Bourdain was interviewing with a man that had a steakhouse and had a heavy accent. He asked Anthony, "What do you know about me?" He answered honestly, "Absolutely nothing." Realizing as he left he had been asked, "What do you know about meat?" I'm one of those heathens that enjoys lavender flavored things, but it has to be used sparingly or it absolutely ends up tasting like soap. A local coffee place here has a white chocolate and lavender cold brew that's divine, but they've also clearly taken the time to get the balance right. At least you know now that you probably wouldn't be happy working there. The second best panna cotta I've ever had was a lavender panna cotta. The worst panna cotta I've ever had was a lavender panna cotta. It's a really easy flavor to do badly. If I were the owner I would appreciate you for being honest, but probably not give you the job because you failed to look at the menu and do even the slightest amount of research before the interview. The problem for me wouldn't be that the guy doesn't like what I do, but that he couldn't be bothered to read the menu before he came into the shop. You'd hate working there if you got the job, but awesome today I fucked up there. I probably would. Would I a little bit inside anytime I made anything with lavender? I could get behind the pistachio extract if needed because I actually don't mind almonds. But the lavender would drive me nuts. Lol. At least you were honest. Also, I freaking love rose flavoring. I have rose tea and a rose syrup that I add to club soda. Also have a lavender syrup to add to my club soda. They are both delicious. Smiley face. I don't mind rose sometimes. It has a very light, fresh flavor, so if added correctly it can make something unique. I made rose and champagne cupcakes once and even though it wasn't the most flavorful, they were pretty good. But lavender I can never get behind, lol. Today I fucked up by making my wife orgasm for the first time. Didn't happen today, it was last week, but today I have an appointment to go to a clinic as a result of the orgasm incident. Too long didn't read. My wife has an orgasm and pushes me and my head into a windowsill. I'm seeing a doctor today for a headache and other symptoms. So my wife hasn't really had a full orgasm before, just small ones, or half an orgasm as she calls it. When we first started becoming sexually active with each other, we slowly worked on it, trying out different things/positions, bonding emotionally, and building trust. Last week we were finishing up doggy style. She had her first full orgasm. In the past with her half orgasms she has shown prone to knee-jerk reactions, curling up/clenching, arms flail a bit, all normal stuff. But her full orgasm amplified all of that. One last piece of info, our bed is right by our window, and when I'm kneeling on the bed the windowsill is right about jaw height on me. Okay. Wife orgasms, I'm all the way in when she suddenly curls up/drops towards the right, onto the bed, full fetal position, and her arms also push back away from the headboard. At this point I'm trying to keep my dick from snapping off as she falls down and she's also pushing back against me. Drop to the right with her, but now I'm unstable and she pushes me/my head straight into the windowsill, hitting me on the right side of the back of my head. I don't think I broke anything and the goose egg went down quickly, but I've been getting sporadic headaches in the part I hit and occasionally my right ear rings or goes muffled. So I'm seeing a doctor today and I haven't told my wife about any of my symptoms. Time to have a conversation about tying her up. Smile. Move your bed. Seriously. That could have been way worse. Better than having your dick snapped off, I suppose. Sounds like you both got your big ow. Don't take aspirin or anything else which interferes with clotting. Don't ignore persistent symptoms. Been there with a TBI, alas from a more prosaic cause. Today I fucked up by accidentally not taking a microdose at work. Be me, someone with severe ADHD and has been on the waiting list for months to see a specialist to get medicated. That gave me a push to seek my own self-prescription. Some may call this stupid. Yes, it is rather. Ritalin was great but expensive, Adderall probably wasn't Adderall. So basically, someone on Reddit popped up asking if I've tried microdosing LSD. After doing a load of research I thought this is for me now. I acquired what I was told was 30 micrograms per tab and I'd do anything to go back and sample it before I went to work. I work in retail, but as it turns out it must have been at least 250 micrograms judging from the symptoms. Anyway, I took it at about 9 AM and showed up for work at 10 AM. But as I used the bathroom and looked in the mirror I knew something was up. I got the initial lightweight feeling as I came out onto the shop floor. Ow. As my manager has been off for 3 months and the assistant manager was younger than me, I told him the situation as he doesn't really care. He laughed and said, "I'm sure you'll be fine if you only had that amount." Well, my heart has never beaten faster in my life. It was like a hardcore song. And those of you who don't know, tripping in a location where you definitely shouldn't be is fucking scary. Anyway, when shit really started kicking in was when a customer tried talking to me and his eyes started expanding. I was trying to keep my cool and show him where something was, but I froze on the spot and stared at him. My pupils were probably making me look like a wood elf out of the Elder Scrolls. I ended up running out back and cowering in the corner of the colleague room knowing I was going to lose my job. I was proper freaking out at this point and my assistant manager came in to reassure me. Anyway, the customer reported me saying I was on something, but that absolute legend of a manager covered for me and said I was on a new antidepressant and I had a bad reaction to it, as antidepressants can cause dilated pupils. Too long didn't read, took a big dosage of acid at work and freaked out in front of a customer, didn't lose my job as I was covered and he said I was on new antidepressants. My dude, shrooms are much easier to microdose. When I don't have the energy to focus on doing a task and then I microdose with the intention of being productive and taking care of myself and my responsibilities. Then boom, I'm a functioning human being for the next day or two. You owe your boss big time, buy him some beer or something, he did you a solid. Maybe a tab of that antidepressant. My pupils were probably making me look like a wood elf out of the Elder Scrolls. Biosura, Biosura, Biosura. It's the Grand Champion. Can't believe it's you. Standing here, next to me. Please tell me you have yellow hair and you gel it up in a pyramid on your head. That manager had your back like a champ. You should get them an award or reward. I bought the guy a bottle of Grey Goose vodka, would have taken him out for a steak but lockdown and all. I rode on a commercial airline last week for the first time in a year. Knew I would be anxious about infection risk, not the flying itself, so I packed a couple edibles in my carry-on. I took one a while before takeoff and fell into the all too familiar edible trap. I didn't feel anything, so after half an hour or so I took another. Long story short, toward the end of the flight I found myself actively wishing the plane would just crash so I wouldn't have to deal with trying to get my bag out of the overhead bin, navigating the tiny aisle, and generally pretending to be anything other than stoned out of my gourd. Being intoxicated in public places is always such an adventure.